Hello, this is a quick demo of a new integration that we just silently released in Rose that we think is the perfect fit for everyone in Notion who uses it for personal or company finance trackers. So here's how it works. Now inside our data action panel, you can look for banking integrations and this essentially connects to more than 12,000 banks in the EU and in the US, and it allows you to pull your balance or transactions from your bank account. So let's do this quickly. I'll get the transaction from a bank account. I can connect all of my bank accounts. You see here I have multiple connected. Let's say that I want to get data from my N26 account for the last 30 days. Create table, and we will automatically pull data from the bank account. You see this, there it is, transaction date, amount, name, merchant, and a bunch of data that the bank sends us. We use a provider called Plaid for this, so kind of all of the security authentication with the banks is done with them, and then they pass along the data to us, which is here. Very cool thing is that the automation is automatically a log, meaning that if I now schedule a refresh, for example, for this to happen every day, whenever there are new transactions, it will just add a new line to the spreadsheet. You see here all of the transactions, and now I want to send this to Notion. So let's say that in Notion I have a database with my personal finance tracker, because then I want to build automations on top of this, or I want to build a dashboard on top of this, and this is going to be the core database. And I have a few columns: ID, transaction date, description, merchant, and amount. Now I'll just send this data from Rose into Notion automatically. First thing I'll do is, maybe I don't need all of these columns, so I will remove some of the columns. There it is. We also maybe don't need the currency, but this is what I want to send to Notion. Okay. What I will do is I will copy the view of this database. So copy the link to the view, and I will add a new formula here. So you see add formula. I'll call this send to Notion, and I will start equals Notion. You see all of the actions from Notion. What I want to do is add a new database item. So the database ID, I will just post the URL, and then I need to tell it which property does it match to. So in our case, we have ID, transaction date, description. I will just say the ID maps to the transaction ID, the, transaction date. So transaction date maps to the date, the amount maps to the amount in rows, the, description and merchant. Okay, the description, okay, matches the name, and then the merchant matches the merchant name. Okay, this is it. Now I'll click save all changes, and we will send this line by line. You see that it's executing. Now it already pushed everything. If I go to my Notion database, everything was populated already, right? So you have all of the transactions here in Notion. Now the really interesting thing is that whenever there's a new one, I'll close this panel, whenever this automation runs, so tomorrow when it runs again, if there are new entries on this table, this column will automatically expand, and this will send more entries to Notion. Right? And now people in Notion have their bank transactions inside their Notion databases. They can then build relationships with it. They can basically keep building on it, and Notion becomes like a great interface for actual personal finance trackers, instead of having to manually put all of the expenses and revenue manually. So this is it. It's a new banking integration. We're going to release it to the public or announce it in a couple of weeks. It's already live. If you want to try it, just go to Data Actions, Bank, and then go from there. Thank you.